Hello everyone. Today we will see another topic, and that is the Forest Amendment Bill 2023, also known as the Forest Conservation Amendment Bill of 2023. Now most of you must be aware that this is very much in the news these days because of various issues. Now let us check the various intricacies of this amendment bill, what is it, etc. Now let us see the road towards this bill, how this bill was shaped, how this bill came into effect. Now this Forest Conservation Amendment Bill, this was passed by the Lok Sabha on 26 July 2023. Generally, when a bill is passed in the Lok Sabha, it should go to the Rajya Sabha. But instead of Rajya Sabha, it was sent to the JPC, that is the Joint Parliamentary Committee, and that for approval, which was constituted of 32 members. So this was the first problem. Now this was the first point of debate, that why it was sent to JPC instead of Rajya Sabha. So anyways, so after it was approved by the JPC, it was sent to the Rajya Sabha on August 2nd. And in Rajya Sabha, it was passed. The Forest Conservation Bill was passed in the Rajya Sabha. What is the statement of object and the reasons of the bill? Why the government thought that this bill was necessary? Now, these are the main statements, or this is the main reasons of the bill. So officially, it is being said that achieving net zero emission by 2070 is one of the main objectives of this bill. Secondly, through this bill, the government seeks to create a carbon sink of additional how much? 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide by 2030. Thirdly, the objective is to increase the forestation cover, forest and tree cover, by 1/3 of the land area of India. Now let us see what is this? What is this bill all about? Now this bill, it aims to bring significant changes to the erstwhile bill, that is the Forest Conservation Act, which was passed in 1980. And this bill, Forest Conservation Act 1980, this is one of the most crucial acts for the conservation of forests in India. Now, this Forest Conservation Act 1980, it includes various types of lands under forest. But this particular bill, it exempts various types of land from the Act's applicability. Now, you must know about this case, which is T.N. Godavarman's case, in T.N. Godavarman versus Union of India, in which the Supreme Court had suspended, suspended the felling of trees across the country, and it also ruled that this Forest Conservation Act would apply to what? All land parcels. This is a very important point, to all land parcels, whether or not it has been recorded as forest or not. If it is recorded as forest, then also felling of trees will be suspended. If it is not recorded as forest, but it resembles the dictionary meaning of forest. What do we mean by the dictionary meaning of forest? Any large area with significant tree cover and undergrowth. So any region, whether it is recorded as forest or it is not recorded as forest, it resembles the dictionary meaning of forest. If we see the dictionary, the meaning of forest, what it says, any large area with significant tree cover and undergrowth. So whether or not it is recorded as forest, felling of trees, cutting of trees has been banned by whom? By the Supreme Court of India. Now this particular bill, this actually redefines what a forest is according to the Indian law. It redefines what the forest is, because we have already defined what a forest is. But this bill, it redefines what a forest is under the Indian law. So under this, the bill, since it redefines forest, so according to this bill, only those land areas which has been notified as forest, or in records we find forest under the Indian Forest Act 1927, or we find in government records, um, along with after the 1980 Act came into effect. So all those parcels of land which has been recorded in government record according to 1927 Indian Forest Act and according to 1980 Indian Forest Act, only those recorded parcels of land are forest and the rest is not forest. This is a very important point under this bill. So please keep this in mind. And this is quite opposite to this point where the Supreme Court had said that whether or not it is recorded as forest, it will be counted as forest if it has got large area with significant tree cover and undergrowth. So you are seeing that this is a quite a deviation. These two are quite a deviation from each other. These 2 points are quite a deviation from each other. Now, next we see, this is what. Now, this revision, thus it stands against the applicability of the Act, the judgment which was given in 1996. Because the Supreme Court judgment had said what? That it has been classified, officially classified as forest or not classified as forest, should be treated as a forest. Now, the bill has been named as, it has been called as Van Samrakshan Evam Samvardhan Adhiniyam 1980. And it extends, what is the applicability of the Act? It extends the applicability of the Act to only certain types of land. And what are the certain types of land which I have said previously, which has been notified as forest under the Indian Forest Act 1927 and 1980. So this act, this particular act, this has got a number of exemptions. This has made a number of exemptions based on the fact that many of the land parcels now, because it has redefined what is a forest, now is no longer a forest. So what are the lands which are exempted from being a forest land? So those forested land which are alongside a railway line or a public road which is maintained by the government and which provides access to a habitation or to a road and roadside amenity up to a maximum of 0.10 hectare. So even if it is a forest land, then if it fulfills this criteria, then that land will be exempted. Land up to 10 hectares in a forested land proposed to be used for construction of security-related infrastructure. Land as is proposed to be used for construction for various defense-related projects of the central government, and which will be what? It will be 5 hectares. It should not exceed 5 hectares in a left-wing extremism affected area. So from the forested land, if this is the boundary of the forest, so from the forested land, 5 hectares will be exempted according to this in a left-wing region. From the forested land, 10 hectares will be exempted for various security-related purposes, etc. Also, the bill excludes, all this has been excluded in forested land. The bill also excludes two categories of land, which are lands which has not been recorded in the Act according to 1980, or which has not been recorded, or which has been changed from forest use to non-forest use before 1996. So those lands has been excluded. So those are no longer forest lands. So the bill excludes these types of lands and also these exemptions that I have said. And the bill says that the tree plantation on or reforestation on lands that has not been declared as forest according to this over there tree forestation and tree plantation can be done. Now, if you see this particular point, then this actually goes against the purview of the original Act 1980 or the original 1996 Supreme Court judgment, which says that there should be no deforestation in lands which are not yet not recorded. Still there should be no deforestation, but here we are seeing that there is scope for deforestation, which is another concern for this new bill. There is also another revised exemption which is a huge concern, and that is that the forested land which is situated within a distance of 100 kilometers along international border or the line of actual control, that is also exempted. So any region which is within 100 kilometer of the international border is also delimited, is also been taken away from being a forest, is also exempted from being a forested land. Why? Because over there, construction of strategic linear project of national importance, this has been planned. Also, the various new activities has been planned in these regions. What are the new activities? The new activities are various infrastructures for frontline forest staff, ecotourism, zoo, silviculture, safari, etc. These new activities will be included in the lands which are close to the forested land and in these exempted areas. Now, what is a deviation from Forest Conservation Act 1980? Now, according to 1980, if the government wants to de-reserve a particular forest, that is, it wants to change the forest from forest to non-forest land, then the prior permission of the central government needs, because this de-reserving this land, because this forest land comes under concurrent list, where the state government and the central government both, they have got a say in that. So if the state government wants to de-reserve the forest, it should take permission from the central government. Now, according to the new law, that is not required. It is not required. Secondly, for leasing out forest land, it was required that the state should take the permission of the central government. That is also not required right now. Usage of forest for non-forestry activities, similarly, no permission is required for this. So these particular points where prior permission was required, now no more prior permission will be required. So it is another concern. That if no prior permission is required for any of these activities, so that would lead to wide-scale deforestation, which is another concern for this particular bill. Now, in this particular bill, as I have said before, the definition of forest or forest land has been changed. What it is, all those recorded forests under Indian Forest Act 1927 or in government records when the 1980 Forest Act came into effect, only those are forest lands, regions, land parcels which are not notified, which are not in government records. Although Supreme Court had said those should be also under forest lands, but according to the new bill, those will not be forest land. Only recorded lands will be under forest lands. Now, what are the key features? First of all, the key feature is the land under the purview of the Act. Now, land under the purview of the Act, as I have said before, that land which has been notified or which has been converted from forest to non-forest according to October 25th, 1980. So only these will be, or which has been taken, or which has been changed from forest use to non-forest use on or before December 12, 1996, only these lands will be under forest, rest won't come under the purview of the Act. Exempted categories of the land. So, as said before, that certain lands has been exempted. Now, this is a huge point of debate because if so much of land is exempted, that is 10 hectares or 5 hectares or 100 kilometers from the international borders, except for various reasons like security related reasons or construction of defense related projects or camps for paramilitary forces or public utility projects, etc. So these exemptions, so many exemptions has been given. So these may affect the forest cover of India. Then various activities has been permitted in the forested lands. Now the bill adds more activities to this permitted list of the forest land, which are these as given over here. And also, the bill says various restrictions may be lifted, and for the change of forest land to the non-forest land, prior permission is not required. So, what are the concerns? The concern is that if so much of land in the border areas goes for non-forest activities, so that will adversely impact the forest cover and wildlife, particularly in regions like northeastern states of India and Jammu and Kashmir. Further, the bill removes the mandatory central government approval. So when this mandatory central government approval is removed, according to this bill, so the state governments will have the sole responsibility. So that will impact the forest cover and the biodiversity. This is another concern. Also, when more and more of these lands will be leased out to the various private companies, so this is more or less like a privatization of the forest land or the lands adjoining the forests. So with these privatizations, this will lead to various non-forest activities which may adversely affect the forest cover. This is another concern. Second, lastly, so the various, moreover, the various new activities like ecotourism, zoo, safari, etc., these may affect the forest cover or the biodiversity of that region. Further, this is to be noted that zoos, particularly zoos, these from the Supreme Court in this very same the rules that was given in the T.N. Godavarman and Union of India, Supreme Court had disapproved the building of zoos. But here, according to this new bill, the zoos will be coming up. What are the other concerns? The other concern is the Hindi name. Because of this Hindi name, in the various non-Hindi belts, this objection has been raised. So, next is the impact on ecologically sensitive areas. So, there are various exemptions in the bill, as you have seen. So, they have raised concerns that they will potentially they will clear the forests, and when the forests will be cleared, that will have an impact on the ecologically sensitive areas like the Himalayas, the Trans Himalayas, and the northeastern regions of India. Further, this bill, because various types of tribals population, they are located in these sensitive zones, the northeastern region, the Trans Himalaya, the Himalayas, etc. Also some in the Nilgiris. So that will, when you go into their arena, that will erase their rights. The rights of these indigenous communities will be erased. For example, the Dongria Kondh, which is a particularly vulnerable tribal group, there is a concern that because of this eroding into the forest cover, through the 5 hectares, through the 10 hectares, etc., through these exemptions, we will go more inside their arena and they will be significantly hampered. Also, Also, because of the privatization of the various parts of the forest, that will lead to the selling of the clearing of or the exploitation of the forest products for the non-forestry purpose. And as said before, that through the prior permission, through the waiving of the prior permission of the center government, so the center state balance may be hampered. Now, this is an important point wherein in the exemptions you have seen that 100 till 100 kilometers there is exemption on in the borderlands, in the borderlands or the lands along the LSC, etc. Now, this is northeastern India. In northeastern India, the maximum proportion of forest land is in this region. Like Mizoram over here has around 85% of its land surface under forest cover, followed by Arunachal, 79%, or like Meghalaya, which is around 76%, or Manipur, which is around 74%, Tripura, again 74%. And these are also biodiversity hotspots. Now, as it is in Northeast India, because of various reasons like shifting agriculture, etc., or the felling of trees, these various development activities, as it is, we are seeing that there is a wide scale deforestation in this zone. Now, if it is allowed, the diversion of forest is allowed for construction of various projects along 100 kilometers, that will more hasten the forest decline in the forest cover. Because see, like Mizoram, both this side and also this side is what it is international border. So if you see 100 kilometers from this side, 100 kilometers from this side, or for example, Tripura, 100 from this, 100 from this. So these will, or for example, Sikkim, so 100 from this side and 100 from this side. So this will actually the entire state will fall under this. So the entire state, because 100 kilometer from this side and 100 kilometer from this side, that means the entire Mizoram. Same for Tripura, same for Sikkim. So same for various other states. Like Uttarakhand, around 45% of the forest cover will go. So if this is the case, then the entire state of Mizoram, Tripura, Sikkim, etc., and a good amount of Imphal, Nagaland will be, or that for that purpose, Shillong, will be prone to deforestation because of the various exemption acts, various exemption rules by the government. So uh, all these lands, all this forest cover will very easily they will be destroyed. So this is a major problem of this bill, or this is a major concern of this bill. Further, this will hamper the forest conservation, and because with enhanced economic activities, the forest conservations will be hampered, because when there will be more prospecting of minerals. So obviously mineral is required for the energy security and industrial growth. But then that will lead to what? The sustainable balance will be hampered. And then what is the purpose of zoo inside the forest is unclear. Why do you need a zoo inside the forest? So these were the various points regarding this Forest Conservation Amendment Bill, the various points, the various concerns that has been given. Now, see, any change in law will have its own fair share of criticisms and appreciation. Now, only time will say that whether this is a blessing or a bane for us. Thank you so much.